Um, Welcome again. This is the last video I'm doing on today, and then I will make some other time to do the others. The reality about a home ownership, guys. I know Uti, there are so many things that we talk about, the beautiful things, and then we don't want to speak about the realities. Unfortunately, some people like myself are called to speak of the realities, and it is not to scare you, but is to prepare you. Is to prepare you so that you are fully aware as to what you are getting yourself and what it is that you need to do and how you are supposed to be doing it. That it is all about. Now, as somebody who bought their first property, how old was I? I think I was 25 or 24. I don't even remember. But yeah, that's how long ago I bought my first property. And the only thing that came to my mind at the time was just owning a space, finding my mother a house, and then where they can move in. But they still needed to, the electricity needs to be paid, the water needs to be paid, rates and taxes needs to be paid, and that home needs to be insured. That home needs to needs to wear clothes, because you cannot just walk into an empty home and stay there. You've got to furnish the house. Over and above that, I need to service the loan that I've taken into owning this property. The servicing the bank and making sure that I'm paying the house. Over and above, I need to maintain this particular house, meaning that it has got to be looked and taken care of. And all of those things are the things that we hardly think about when we are looking at finding this place or buying this a property. Hence, many that are also in this property space, then you find that you are having endless struggles and the challenges with your tenants and all of that, because there's also this other aspect that it's a reality that we need to take care of. I'm going to share a story of when one of the things that happened in the other property that it was our residential property with my husband. One day we woke up, the boundary wall fell off, the whole boundary wall. That land was about 1.2 square meters, so it was a very long wall at the back. A boundary wall. And then when we called the bank, the insurance, then they will send the assessor. Immediately this white guy, when he walked in, when I was walking to show him, he just told me that this house, it is not going to, the bank is not going to fix this. And I was like, what do you mean the bank is not going to fix it? He says because it's not built according to spec. And I'm like, to my shock, what do you mean it's not built according to spec? I did not build this house. I bought the house as is. What do you mean that they're not going to pay for it? And then he told me things about the house. There's a building criteria that it must meet. It must have, I don't know how many meters or whatever. Must have a pillar, like for instance, that same wall that I had, it was supposed to have had about 4 or 6 pillars, minimum 4, and that one of ours had 3 pillars. So he then said, because of that, the bank is not going to finance. And I'm like, but it's not gonna replace, the insurance is not gonna replace. And I'm like, but they financed the house as is. I bought the house as is. They were happy to finance it. And then that's where I got a shocker that they financing the loan. They are checking that the property, if anything were to happen, the property will be able to repay the loan that you are taking. So they are not concerned as to how it is built and whatever. That it is your role. You need to have gotten yourself a structural engineer who was supposed to come and check if everything is built according to plan. And a shock. These are the things that we don't prepare for. These are the things that we don't even know about. I honestly, before you can come and say, but you should have known and whatever, I want you to just sit and think, have you really read all the details of your insurance, especially your homeowner's insurance? Have you went in detail and read page to page? I can confirm as I'm doing this video, it's only a majority, like a percentage, maybe 1%, 2% of us who does that. Many of us, we find out about these things when there's a problem. The bank came back with and highlighted and resumed this part that was talking about the very thing that it must be according to NHBC, whatever, must be this, whatever, all the building, whatever. And then according to the assessment of the assessor, they are not going to replace. They are not going to pay. At that time, I am paying for homeowners insurance that says that I need to make sure that I'm paying my bond. I'm also paying and maintaining the house. And according to me, the house was well maintained. So I am sharing this so that we know the realities that we need to be faced, especially for people that are starting out and people that are already there but are not even conscious of this. People that are already owning these properties but you are not even aware that you need to make sure that these and these things are covered. For an example, some of the things that the assessor told me about was, number one, that, for an example, that house, the way it was built, I thought it was just the design of the house. And then he said, no, this is the foundation is exposed. Meaning, because the foundation is exposed, the bank is, if anything were to happen to your house, they are not going to pay out this insurance. They are not going to pay out because the foundation. So what needs to happen? You need to fill up all this place with more. Guys, the house was already built. That's how I bought. Hence, now I understand why it's important to build your house from scratch. And how many of us have got that liberty? How many of us have got that liberty to build from scratch? Very, very minimal. Majority of us, we've got to take what we see. Then he told me that the roof of the house, you need to make sure that at least the roof is painted every 10 years. The gutters of the house, you need to make sure that the gutters are painted and cleaned and cleaned every 10 years, every 5 years, I think. But you must make sure that over and above. And I was like, but the gutters, they are there for the water. And what is, he says, no, if the gutters are not well taken care of, something as simple as that, the house will not be replaced if you are not doing it. That's why it's important to make sure that your gutters are good and they are, if they are clean. You are constantly, at least every 5 years, make sure that you repaint your gutters and you clean them. If you are able to replace them, replace them. And then he spoke about soil erosion. In the house, in the kitchen, there was a crack that you, obviously, because the tiles were white, you could see, but it was not really bad. It was not a bad crack. And then he said this is caused by soil erosion. So in this particular instance, if anything were to happen and the person comes here, they are not going to finance this because this is not part. It does not form part of the whatever it is, their insurance terms. Guys, there is things that we need to know and take care of over and above. When you are having the property, over and above making sure that the house is paid and it is insured. It is even worse because you can also be told that it's underinsured or overinsured. If it's overinsured, also it doesn't get a refinance, which is why when you put on let's say you're changing your house, you're changing from normal windows and putting aluminum windows, you must inform your bank. If your house is financed, you must inform your bank, because if you do not do that, they are not going to pay. And of lately, I also learned that the very same thing, you need to also make the municipality aware This I found out when my aunt was, they just put on all the building, and they were building the face, they did it and they uplifted the face, changed the face of the house, the front of the house, and changed the windows. And that's the guy from the municipality came and told them that they need to have submitted and informed the municipality, this is how the house is looking at the moment. These are the realities. These are the realities that we need to be aware of, need to be conscious of, so that when we know that as we're thinking that we are building, we need to understand that it is not just about making the money, but it is also, it's got to do a lot with the maintenance. I've got a friend who passed on, and she was in the property business, and when the husband died, I think they had about 20 title deeds when the husband died, and then she was left with a huge debt, which is what is called what do you call it, capital gains tax, because the property appreciates. So as the property value, the property appreciates, when you are selling the house, you need to pay that difference, the capital gains, which is the appreciation. You pay that tax. So with them, she was selling these houses because she had the title deeds. She was paying this, selling these houses, and she was not even making sure that she is paying the tax man. And then she died, one, not only from the tax, the debt of the capital gains, but there was also the estate duty tax that was as a result of the winding up of the husband's estate, now of her estate. Now that is going to be passed on to the children. So while we are building this world, we have got to make sure that we acquaint ourselves with all the necessary things and information that we need, and not only focus only on the money making, because many of us are obsessed with the money making, and when we are supposed to be making the money, and then there's many other things that are cropping up that are making us, that we did not take into account. Which is why, if you are into this space, make sure that you get yourself a proper mentor. Somebody who's going to mentor you into building a proper property, a portfolio. And while you are doing that, make sure that your own spiritual home is well taken care of. Your own spiritual home is taken care of. I will speak about that in the next video. But for me for now, remember, subscribe. Remember to subscribe. If this content speaks to you, if this content it is for you, please share. Please make sure that you have subscribed. Please make sure that you write in your comment, and then make other people become aware of this that is happening here. But for now, I would just love to say thank you so much for coming through. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing. Much love. Bye-bye.